Selam millet, Karantina Deniz videolarının yepyeni bir bölümüyle daha karşınızdayım. Evet arkadaşlar, bugün sizlerle birlikte şu Game Teori'nin Sans hakkında yaptığı videoyu izleyeceğiz ve büyük ihtimal oldukça sağlam bir video. Sans'la alakalı benim de çok fazla teorim var. Sans o kadar teoriye açık bir karakter ki konuşmalarıyla, sözleriyle, hal ve hareketleriyle. O yüzden oldukça güzel şeyler çıkartacağını düşünüyorum. Hızlı bir şekilde başlamak istiyorum. Bakalım Sans hakkında nasıl tespitler yapılmış. Bu kanalı çok seviyorum.
And I suppose FNAF 2. Oh, and then there was
FNAF'a girme şimdi. FNAF 3 mü? Dostum daha FNAF 1'i geçemedim.
Across the board on YouTube, Reddit and Twitter, you all have wanted
Evet, Undertale hakkında bu arada adamdan çok fazla Sans hakkında teori istemişler, bunu söylüyor şu an ve o da Sans hakkında artık bir şeylerin yapması gerektiğine karar vermiş. Bu arada Undertale'ın çok benzeri, hatta birebir esinlenildiği gibi şeyler söylenen şu diğer oyundan bahsediyor. Altyazı gene Allah'a emanet. Yapacak bir şey yok.
Every time you enter an encounter. But to me, one character stood out amongst
evet, o karakter benim de gözüme çarptı.
named after the font Comic Sans, hence all the font references at the beginning of the episode. If you haven't played Undertale, I'm sure that was a really weird opening. Anyway, Sans is... well, there's a lot of mystery around this guy. And before we get into it, let me put up a very special spoiler warning.
Spoiler,
Undertale is the game best...
Daha önce Undertale oynamadıysanız ve oyun hakkında bir bilginiz yoksa oynamak istiyorsanız bunu hala yapmamış olabilirsiniz. Asla bunun için sizi yadırgamam veya dışlamam. Haberiniz olsun, Undertale spoiler dolu bir oyundur ve spoiler yediğiniz zaman bütün tadınız kaçabilir. Onu baştan söyleyip adam da burada spoiler alerti basmış zaten. Evet, bitirin ve sonra gelin diyor, mantıklı. Sana söz veriyorum. Ben de söz veriyorum bu arada. Gidin bitirin ve gelin, pişman olmayacaksınız. Pişman olursanız gelin bu videoya dislike atın. Ama beğenirseniz de öncelikle kanka bunu söylemek zorundayım. Sans ve Papyrus arasındaki ilişki şu şekilde. Sans büyük olan, yanlış hatırlamıyorsam. Ulan eğer yanlış hatırladıysam var ya. Ay dur.
Their origins are a big question mark. All that we really know is what's given to us by a shopkeeper in Snowden, who explains that Sans and Papyrus, quote, just showed up one day and asserted themselves.
Burada bayağı evet oldukça garip bu arada.
Papyrus is just kind of the goofy sidekick. Sans is much more complex. Sure, he likes fart jokes, but he's also incredibly
osuruk esprisi yapayım mı? Ah, yapamıyorum, koltuğumun altı şu an müsait değil. Oyundaki en zor savaş Sans diyor şurada ama bence Undyne Fighter. Şampiyonlar şampiyonu Undyne daha zor.
Even walking through walls, he also acknowledges that he's only one of infinite versions of himself, making self-aware commentary of the various timelines that you played through in the game.
Bütün zaman çizelgelerini bilen bir karakter. Bizi kaç kez öldürdüğünü sayabiliyor. Bu çok güzel, havalı bir bilgi.
Even explaining the secrets of EXP and love, or execution points and levels of violence, just to clarify. In short, he just doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the world of monsters. But then what? Or who is he? Well, the idea that he doesn't belong in Underworld seems to be correct.
Bir dakika, adam şu an Sans'ın...
Point to the fact that he was
bunu hoşuma gitti.
formerly a surface dweller.
Ama eskiden yüzeye bakan.
In the ending of the game, as the group looks out onto the horizon, Papyrus asks Sans about the giant ball in the sky. Sans says, quote, "We call that the sun."
Evet, bunu hatırlıyorum. Güzel son diyecektim. İyi sonda Sans'la birlikte, yani herkes bu aynen şu an gördüğünüz tablo olduğu zaman Papyrus bir soru soruyor. Diyor ki şu gökyüzünde duran şey de ne? Sans da diyor ki biz ona güneş diyoruz diyor. Biz ona güneş. Evet, biz. Ama bence bu, bak şimdi bu bir teori deme. Ben de o zaman buna karşı hemen bir karşı teori uyduruyorum. Biliyorsunuz Sans Undertale dünyasında Toriel'la en aktif iletişimde olan karakterlerden biriydi. Evet, bir duvarın arkasında bile olsa. Belki Toriel okuduğu kitaplardan dolayı kütüphanelerde yazan o kitaplardan dolayı güneşi biliyor olabilir ve bunu bir gün Sansa o duvardan anlatmış olabilir. Ama neyse, şu an kimin teorisi daha güçlü bilmiyorum.
Humans, and B, that despite he and Papyrus both being skeletons, are supposedly brothers, and apparently appeared in Underworld at the same time, they clearly have two very different histories.
Bir dakika,
Why
iki
would
geçmiş
Papyrus
farklı.
not know the name of the sun, but Sans would? We get further clues as to Sans' origin as we hear him say multiple times that he wants to go home.
Evet
He
evet.
says as much during
Eve
his
dönmekle
dinner
alakalı
scene
bir
at the
şeylerden
Manhattan
bahsediyor.
Hotel. He notices that the player must want to go home and says, quote, I know the feeling. He then continues, maybe sometimes it's better to take what's given to you, as though he ended up in Underworld by accident. And in a genocide run during his boss fight, he says, quote, look, I gave up trying to go back a long time ago.
Evet, bu sözleri söylüyor. Tamam, bu o zaman benim teorimi çürüttü şu an. Teşekkür ediyorum Game Teori.
Key word here is either. Yes, he seems to hail from the surface and wants to go back, but based on his dialogue, he no longer considers it his home. It's as though the surface world he once knew is gone, as though he's from a different time. It's pretty intriguing. So we're left with a being that appeared out of nowhere, presumably from the human surface, but from a different time period, who seemingly has the power to teleport. That's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. But here's where things get really interesting. Sans has a hidden workshop that takes a fair amount of searching to find. You could say it takes a lot of
buraya geldi. Bu bir spoiler bu arada.
to unlock. Anyway, obligatory determination references aside, as you start to look for this Easter egg, Sans gives you a key to his room with the words, "It's time you learn the truth." After some searching, you find the workshop, which contains items that leave even more questions. A photo album featuring Sans.
Ay, ben bu bölümü hatırlıyorum. Ben bu bölümü çekmiştim.
A badge, blueprints with illegible handwriting, and a broken machine hidden behind the
Kırık bir
In
makine.
the latest update, one more detail was added. A hand-drawn picture of 3 smiling faces with the words, "Don't forget."
Don't
So what's it all
forget. İşte bu
mean?
Don't
Well,
Forget
a lot of
sunucusunun
Undertale
çıkış yeri.
purists have been linking these details to a
Çok iyi.
mysterious figure named W.D. Gaster, a ghostly
Evet,
character
onun
who
Gaster
never
olduğunu
truly
biliyoruz.
appears in the game. Honestly, covering him is a theory all unto itself, and probably one best saved for another day. Even still, none of the Gaster theories I've seen have been able to explain all the details. In particular, the photo album and the badge. And that's what kept nagging me as I researched Undertale. A badge? That one in particular really stuck out to me. Why would such an oddly specific item be included in this huge Easter egg of a room? Something that supposedly reveals
Alt yazı o kadar kötü ki ağlıyorum şu an.
Badges just aren't important in Undertale. And then it hit me. What if it wasn't from Undertale? What if this badge was from a complete...
Sana bir şey söyleyeyim mi Game Teorisi? Yaklaş kanka. Bu ne biliyor musun? Bu Deltarune'un 2. chapter'ı. Evet, şu an aklıma çok değişik bir şey geldi.
Different game and was in fact the most important badge in the history of gaming. The Franklin Badge. Now, for those of you wondering what I'm talking about, the Franklin Badge is a pivotal item from the Mother series. You know, the one with Earthbound. Or maybe you don't know that one either. You know, the one that Ness from Super Smash Bros. Yeah, well, Ness is from Earthbound, and Earthbound is the second part in this larger Mother trilogy. Alright? Good. Anyway, the Franklin Badge is a really
Hey dostum, buralar karışan yerler. Bir dakika bekle.
It gets to start in the very first game and carries through the whole trilogy, saving your life multiple times in the process. It's so important that Nintendo has made it a staple item in the Smash Bros. Series. So I asked myself, what if the badge in Sans' drawer was that exact badge? Well, first off, it'd make Undertale connected to my favorite game, thereby making it even cooler. But that's still a pretty big logical leap. I needed more. And let me tell you, as I started looking, more and more pieces started to fit into place. At the end of Earthbound, you're given a photo album covering your adventures throughout the game. To me, it's one of the best, most satisfying endings.
Bir şey söyleyeyim mi? Biz bu oyunu niye oynamadık? Bunun Türkçe yaması varsa mutlaka oynayalım bu arada. Bu oyunu mutlaka oynamak istiyorum.
Photo album filled with pictures of Sans with people you don't recognize. Of course, you don't know them. They're not characters present in Undertale. And note the word that's used here. People you don't recognize, not underworld monsters. So that's 2 items oddly linked to the Mother series. But then, how do the blueprints and broken machine fit in? Well, in the final stretch of Earthbound, Ness and his 3 friends must travel to the past in order to have their final battle against the evil alien Gygus. To do that, Dr. Andonuts, remember him by the way, he's gonna be important later, with the help of the science geniuses Apple Kid and Mr.
Bu oyunu
Saturn,
bilmediğim için
create
şu an ne
what's known
dediğini
as the
bilmiyorum.
Phase Distorter, a machine that allows people to travel through time and space. Except, it comes with a cost. It can't transport organic material. As a result, the young heroes must put their souls into robotic bodies to use the machine and thus save the
Buradan eğer
world. I played this
Gaster
game back in
followerlarına
1997, and I'm
bağlarsa-
not ashamed to admit that when I first saw this scene, I cried. It's devastating. Dr. Andonuts says goodbye to his son. These characters that you've grown to love and care about are suddenly promising to sacrifice their lives. For all they know, there's no possibility of them being able to come back home. It's this incredibly dark departure in the final moments of what was otherwise a fun, quirky, and colorful RPG. So what's all this have to do with Undertale? A lot, actually. But the first thing you need to know is that Mr. Saturns are known for their, let's say, unique linguistic style. That would explain the illegible handwriting on the blueprints, and the machine
Eğer 17 numaralı girdiye gidersen-
Phase Distorter is behind that curtain. Now that may seem like a stretch, but it actually explains a lot. If Sans wound up in Underworld via a phase distorter, it could provide a reason for why he's a skeleton. He used the machine as organic matter and suffered the consequences, not killing him, but turning at least part of him into a pile of bones. It would also explain why Sans is
Şu an bahsettiği şey Eightborn muydu? O diğer oyunda olan herhangi bir makine veya herhangi bir durumların Undertale evreninde bağlantılı olduğu yönünde mi? Şu an benim mi beynim yandı yoksa bu şekilde bir şeyden mi bahsediyor?
given up hope for going home. Remember, the Distorter is a time machine. By being in Underworld, he's not only in a different place, but based on how he talks, he's also in a different time, with no hope of traveling back to the time he came from. But the crossovers between Earthbound and Undertale continue. When you speak to the Apple Kid at the end of Earthbound, he's blown away by the astronomical odds of Ness overcoming Gygus, saying that he's going to continue studying the trait called Courage in order to harness its power. Seems awfully similar to the same experiments happening in Undertale around the trait of Determination, no? Especially since so much speculation has circulated that Sans is a key player in those experiments. But I'm sure you also want physical evidence, right? Well, don't worry, because I have plenty. During one of the endings of Undertale, we see Undyne and Alphys hanging out on the beach on the surface world.
Evet, bu sahneyi çok iyi hatırlıyorum.
A lot of similarities to the tropical resort
plaj
location
bayağı
in
benziyor.
Summers that you play through in Earthbound. In fact,
Bir dakika, bu herif şimdi Undertale'ın Eightborn'un paralel bir evreniyle
Hey
dostum, bu biraz ağır olur. Bu biraz ağır olur.
When Undertale's crew of monsters are finally able to reach the surface and look out over the earth, they're met with a beautiful sunset falling across a landscape of a tall mountain, a large city, and a sandy area adjacent to water. Notice the sun's reflection to indicate water and a lack of trees in this middle section here, hence the sand. Well, in Earthbound, you have the big city of Fourside, complete with skyscrapers, which you reach via a desert that just so happens to be adjacent to some water.
Dostum, sen ne yapmaya çalışıyorsun ya?
Meteorite lands on Earth. I always called it on it, but if that's not clear enough for you, Mother 1, Earthbound 0, Earthbound Beginnings, whatever you want to call it, it's had a lot of names, had a map laying out the same geographic landscape, a tall mountain to the east of a large city separated by a desert with all of it up against a coast. I don't know about you, but to me it seems like there's a definite
tık saçmaladığını
between the world
düşünüyorum.
of Eagleland? Again, unclear how it's pronounced. Between the world of Eagleland and the surface world of Undertale. But the strongest physical connection, the one that definitely unites these two franchises, comes from none other than Papyrus himself. He wears a custom-made costume known as his battle body. But if you look really closely at the design of the armor, you'll notice some markings on the chest. Is it just a throwaway detail? Oh no! That right there is an exact match to the ones that appear on the chests of Starman, the most iconic
Böyle bir şey
enemy
var mı
of
gerçekten?
Earthbound. And look at the way he stands. I always thought it was awkward until
Bir dakika,
I
bir
looked at
dakika.
the two
Şu karakterin adı
characters
ne?
side by side. Look really closely at the design of the armor, you'll notice some markings on the chest. Is it just a throwaway detail? Oh no! That right there is an exact match.
Buna bakmama izin ver. İşte Starman. Starman kim abi? Eightborn'da bir karakter mi? Eightborn ne ya? Dur. Starman. Nasıl okunuyorsa. Ulan harbiden böyle bir karakter by the way. Evet. Bu garip. Bu biraz korkuttu açıkçası. Devam et. Dostum iyi yakalamışsın.
Starman, the most iconic enemy of Earthbound. And look at the way he stands. I always thought it was awkward until I looked at the two characters side by side. Papyrus's curved arm and hand is a direct match to the curved arms of the Starman in the Mother series. In short, we have some incredibly strong proof that the Earthbound universe is somehow connected.
Tamam, tam düşündüğüm şeyi yapmış. İki evrenin bağlantılı olduğunu düşünüyor.
Who is
Peki
Sans?
Sans kim?
Well, what if we took it one final step and said that Sans happened to be Ness from Earthbound?
Hey, bu karakteri bilmiyorum. Lanet olsun, keşke 8born oynasaydım.
Carrying the Franklin badge and his photo album in his trusty backpack. Not only do all the items in the workshop suddenly fit, but so does Sans's behavior. Remember, Sans can seemingly teleport, and Ness just so happens to have the PSI ability to teleport. Now look at the way Sans always stands. Hands in his pockets.
Eller cebinde, doğrudan kameraya bakıyor.
It's a very similar stance to how Ness is depicted standing in most marketing for the game. It even explains why Sans...
Bak, bu açıkçası evet, bu güzel bir teori dostum. Ama şöyle bir şey uyandırıyor. Yani Toby Fox direkt 8born karakterlerini kendince uyarlayıp bir oyun mu yaptı? Bence evrenlerin bağlantılı olmasından daha farklı bir gerçeklik var. Esinlenmek.
bleeds when you finally hit him.
Hadi ama esinlendi desene. Evrenlerin bağlantısı falan yok. Ben bunu anladım şu an. Şu an daha büyük resme bakabiliyorum.
Toby Fox, the man behind Undertale, had previously worked on a Halloween hack for Earthbound. But this just wasn't a simple reskin. The Halloween hack tells the tale of Dr. Andonuts after the events of Earthbound. Remember I pointed him out? He's the one who made the phase distorter. In Toby Fox's version of the story, we see that after Gygas's defeat, the souls of the kids never return home. Instead, by going to the past to defeat Gygas, they create a new timeline that they're stuck in. As a result, Jeff never reunites with his father, Dr. Andonuts. And Dr. Andonuts goes crazy with guilt because he's the one responsible for creating the time machine and extracting the souls of his son and his son's friends to send them back to what he assumes was their death. In his mind, he killed 4 kids. And in Toby Fox's game, he's lost his mind trying to deal with that guilt. I'm telling you, this hack is dark. But that said, you see a lot of Undertale in this game. The appearance of amalgamates, the first use of the awesome song Megalovania, the prototypes for Flowey, and the theme of having the choice to be non-violent in an RPG, sparing your enemies. But then why does all this matter to the theory? Well, remember, in Toby Fox's version of the story, the kids don't come back. They're stuck in the past with no hopes of getting home, just like Sans. And in the hack, one character is oddly missing, with no explanation as to why. Ness. Presumably in this timeline, his soul is in a different place than his 3 friends. Which brings us back to Undertale. 3 faces with "Don't forget" written on it. It's Ness trying to remember his 3 friends. In short, Undertale is a continuation of Toby's version of Earthbound, with Ness never being able to get home, adopting the name Sans, and accompanied by Papyrus, a former Starman, an alien force able to speak English and still equipped with his armor and signature posture, but without any knowledge of earthly things, like the sun. The pieces all just seem to fit. And all we need is an appearance from Pokey
bu işi çok iyi yapıyor. Allah kahretsin ya.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Sen bir şey söyleyeyim mi? Sen bu işi çok iyi yapıyorsun, tamam mı?
Now go forth with that knowledge and try to tell me who Gaster is. Don't worry, I'll be looking too.
Hey, ben bu arada Gaster'ın kim olduğunu anladım senin hikayenden.
I have a few more Undertale theories in the works.
Şimdi bir dakika, bitti değil mi?
There's Goomba with another.
Size bir şey söyleyeyim mi? Çok etkilendim. Fuck ve fuck. Bir şey söyleyeceğim. Dedikleri şey çok mantıklı ama benim aklıma şöyle de bir şey geliyor. Esinlenmek. Yani bilmiyorum, bağlantılı hikaye olması olayı çok güzel hissettiriyor ama oyunu hiç oynamadım ama adamın anlattığı şeyler ve olay örgüleri birbirleriyle uyuşuyor. Sadece şu dışarıya baktıkları zaman gördükleri harita ve o diğer oyunun haritasındaki benzetmeler biraz zorlama olmuş. Onların zorlama olduğunu hissettim açıkçası. Çünkü yani hadi ama her piksel oyunda bir kumsal vardır veya bir şey vardır bir şekilde. Onlar da olmuş. İkisinin piksel oyun olması zaten birbirine benzer görüntüler çıkartıyor diye düşünüyorum ama bazı yerlerdeki tespitleri ve özellikle benim için en önemli olan şu Starman denilen karakterin üzerindeki o amblemin Papyrus'un üzerinde birebir durması, sol göğsünün üstü oluyor galiba. Sol göğsünde daha doğrusu, evet kesinlikle. Durması açıkçası beni çok etkiledi. Bilmiyorum. Siz de lütfen fikirlerinizi yazın. Kendi düşüncelerinizi yazın. Ben tekrar söylüyorum. Bence esinlenmek olarak bakıyorum. Esinlendi. Bu tarz bir hikaye yarattı. Paralel bir evrenin devamı gibi olması da bir esinlenme olayı olur bence. Bilmiyorum total ama çok iyi bir tespit. İnanılmaz güzel bir teori izledik. Çok iyisiniz. Gerçekten çok iyi bu adam ya. Bak bu videoya like atmayın, tamam mı? Bu videoya like atmayın. Ya bu video, ya şu an izlediğiniz videoya like atmayın. Gidin abi şu adamı atın. Ben atmışım zaten. Gidin abi bu adamı atın. Kendinize çok iyi bakın. Sizi çok seviyorum. Hoşça kalın.